Norman police make a huge drug bust, plus voters soon head to the polls as Election Day nears, and a new way to track cold cases. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Cal Day.
And I'm Kelsey Hovanetz. We begin tonight with breaking news. In the 100 block of 26th Avenue Southwest at the America's Best Value Hotel, Norman police officers say they uncovered a record amount of liquid meth, $4.4 million worth.
Now you're looking at photos of the semi-truck where police say the drugs were found. Officers say meth was crystallizing on the side of the diesel tank as it was being extracted. Officers located 1,262 pounds of liquid meth in the passenger side of the semi-truck.
And we're exactly 2 weeks from Election Day, and OU Nightly has team coverage. We start with the top race in the state, the battle for governor. Polls indicate that it's an extremely tight race between the Democrat Drew Edmondson and the Republican Kevin Stitt.
Now, both candidates are saying voter turnout will be the deciding factor in the race, and in addition to their campaigns, will be pushing all Oklahomans to get out and vote.
The November election is bringing 5 state questions to the polls. OU Nightly's Harlee Toothman brings us details on how one measure will bring new protection to crime victims.
State Question 794, also known as Marsy's Law, may be an easier decision for voters come November. The proposal would add protections for crime victims in the Oklahoma Constitution.
District attorneys we work with, members of law enforcement we work with that are all in favor of this, and the crime victims alike all agree that what we're doing right now doesn't adequately serve crime victims and we need to make a change.
The ballot question states that it guarantees certain rights for crime victims that would be protected in a manner equal to the defendant's rights. Marsy's Law gets its name from Marcy Ann Nicholas, a college student from California who was murdered by her ex-boyfriend in the 80s. A week later, her brother and mother ran into the accused killer in a grocery store, completely unaware he had been released on bond.
But we all grew up understanding what your rights were. If you're accused of a crime, the right to remain silent, the right to an attorney, it's ingrained in our culture. We're going to ingrain victims' rights into our culture.
State Question 794 says victims have the right to be treated with courtesy, fairness, and respect, the right to receive timely notifications of proceedings, the right to be present and provide input to the prosecutor, the right to be heard at all court proceedings, and the right to restitution. State Question 794 is part of a national effort with similar measures being passed in 6 other states. There is no organized opposition against Marsy's Law, although in other states, some legal groups believe this could threaten the due process of law. Harlee Toothman, OU Nightly.
Statewide support of State Question 794 is urging citizens to vote yes on the November ballot.
And another big topic in this election is State Question 798. Now, if past gubernatorial and lieutenant governor candidates would run on the same ticket. Currently, those 2 offices are on split tickets, and while it is rare, opposite parties could hold the positions. Both candidates for governor are in favor of the state question. The change would go in effect in 2026 if passed.
And we continue our coverage on state and local elections with Nightly's Kyle Payne breaking down Sunday's candidate forum in Norman.
With the teachers of Oklahoma for the 10 days, and I'm proud to be here with you for 11th day. That's what it's all about.
Right here at Longfellow Middle School, candidates from 5 different races answered a wide range of questions from well over 100 concerned Oklahomans. Topics like Medicaid and prison reform were discussed, but education was at the forefront of the 11th day forum.
The 11th Day Committee is a teacher organization that formed after the walkout ended.
We're a group of people who got together after the walkout and said, we can't let this momentum die, we have to do something. And so this is one of the major things that we decided that we were going to do, is hold candidate forums and make sure that people knew who to vote for.
The forum wasn't just about the candidates running for governor, but candidates running in races across Norman. The forum gave local voters a chance to learn more about the names on the ballot.
I think it's important that all the candidates have an opportunity to speak so that we can hear where they stand on the issues. I think it's really critical that they share their vision for the state, not just in generalities, but with specifics as well.
The forum gained traction from its beginning, with the big names from each race showing up with lots of support. The audience members responded with questions explaining exactly what was important to them.
The questions that were asked today in all of these candidate forums have been so educated because we really want to get to the root of who is the right person, not the party, not the candidate. Who is the right person who's going to do what's best for our children, for our schools, for our profession, and for our state.
With the election exactly 2 weeks away, any opportunity to swing voters is crucial, and every candidate hopes they did just that at the 11th Day Forum. Kyle Payne, OU Nightly.
Keep up with OU Nightly for the latest information on each race as November 6th gets closer. Well, Cal, it's been feeling a lot more like fall this week.
It sure has, and meteorologist Trey Bell is here to tell us if the sunshine is here to stick around. Trey?
Yeah, guys, so sunshine is here to stay at least into tomorrow morning. Rain is in the forecast starting tomorrow night, but we've received quite a bit of rain over the past month. You know that full well, and that rain has done a tremendous good thing to our state. Drought is almost non-existent across the state, so definitely that rain is helping with that. And we do have Hurricane Willa. This is in the Pacific Ocean off of the coast of Mexico. That will bring us rain chances later this week. So Willa impacts, Wednesday rain, and a pleasant weekend in store. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Trey. And it's been 3 weeks since the death of a Saudi journalist. Abby Green joins us in the News Center with new developments. Abby?
Thanks, Cal. Turkish president announced today that he believes journalist Jamal Khashoggi died as a result of a vicious murder. The president alluded to the idea that the murder was not instantaneous, but was planned. Turkish officials are still working to locate the body.
Even when the murder was clearly committed, why were there many conflicting announcements made? And why was the body of a person who has been murdered still not been found?
The president insists that 18 suspects will potentially be arrested and face trial. A water advisory has been issued for Austin, Texas. Officials are urging residents to cut the supply by at least 15% to help curb the demand for treatment plants after flooding. A boil advisory will remain in effect today as the city is working to filter levels of contamination from the Highland Lakes. Outdoor water use has been prohibited. Those who fail to abide by the rule may be reported to the city's 311 hotline. And since the opening of the Museum of the Bible in 2017, there have been many questions regarding the authenticity of some of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The museum now admits that 5 of the most valuable artifacts are fake. The artifacts will no longer be displayed to the result of testing showing inconsistent fragments in the scrolls. Some say this deception could be among the most significant shams in biblical archaeology. And Cal, retired Justice Sandra Day O'Connor has been diagnosed with one of the beginning stages of dementia.
Thank you, Abby. Well, the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation has a new unit that will help tackle more than 1,200 cold cases. The Oklahoman reports the Bureau plans to open its cold case unit next month. This unit will consist of a Bureau investigator and a crime analyst who will take a look at cases dating all the way back to 1950. Assisted by new technology and investigative tools, they will be dedicated to getting families answers. And coming up on OU Nightly, this might just be the biggest ice cube you've ever seen.
Plus, one step closer to alcohol being sold at OU athletic events when OU Nightly continues. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Google and Intel have made smart glasses before, but neither product took off with consumers. Sammi Steele is here to explain how a startup company has a new vision for the future of smart glasses.
Cal and Kelsey, it's a startup called North, formerly known as Thalmic Labs, and they're introducing a pair of smart glasses that they think will appeal to the masses. Why? Because the design looks similar to normal glasses. The $1,000 glasses are called Focals. They will be able to connect to your phone via Bluetooth and have a smart projector that beams data into the wearer's eyes. But that's not the only thing. The glasses can also tell the wearer the weather, time, read text messages, and even order an Uber. On NASA's Twitter, they shared a picture of a perfectly rectangular iceberg floating near Antarctica. The image was taken as part of NASA's Operation Icebridge, a mission to track changes in Earth's polar regions. While the monolithic slab of ice might be strange to look at, it is an entirely natural phenomenon. Most of us are used to seeing pictures of angular icebergs with just a small tip of it outside of the water. But there is an entirely different type of iceberg called tabular. Tabular icebergs have steep, nearly vertical sides and a flat plateau top. So rockets not only require a lot of smarts to put together, but they apparently require a ton of water too. As part of the preparations for the new space launch system, NASA tested its space water deluge system, which includes shooting 450,000 gallons of water in 1 minute onto the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center. The water is used to reduce extreme heat and energy generated after a rocket launch. I think it comes in pretty handy. 450,000 gallons in 1 minute.
That's a lot. That is a
Now,
lot.
NASA says that this water deluge system is a giant rocket. It's part of the giant rocket system that will be used later in a few years.
Thanks, Sammi. Well, OU's Board of Regents is scheduled to meet tomorrow in Lawton. The biggest item on the agenda would allow the sale of alcohol at sporting events. It's a proposal supported by OU's Student Government Association. If approved, fans will be able to purchase a cold one during the game from stadium vendors. OU's SGA supports the change in hopes of increasing revenue for the university, as well as enhancing the fan experience.
This year, we're really trying to make an effort to research these things, come up with well thought out positions, and then express those positions to the people in power, in this case, the regents, in order to hopefully affect change that will be beneficial for students.
President James Gallagly is recommending the passage of the proposal.
A big night in Boston as Game 1 of the World Series is tonight. We've got coverage of the red-hot Red Sox and Dodgers ahead of the first pitch.
Plus, meteorologist Trey is tracking a chance for rain.
Yeah, guys, beautiful conditions for this evening, but rain chances do return tomorrow. I'll have more after the break. Good evening. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm student meteorologist Trey Bell. Here is a view across the country, this is current radar. So other than some weather in Arizona, we had some severe thunderstorms and rain along the Gulf Coast. Across the nation, it's rather calm for much of the United States. So let's look at those rain chances that we talked about in first weather. This is due to downstream moisture from Hurricane Willa in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Mexico. So this is moving into tomorrow afternoon. This is going to be Wednesday tomorrow afternoon. Rain begins to enter the state from the southwest, and this will expand to the northeast, and we'll have spotty showers across central Oklahoma Thursday morning, and throughout the day Thursday, those clouds and that rain will push off to the east, and we may even have a peak of sun before sunset tomorrow evening. So this evening, 58 degrees by 8 p.m. By midnight, 52. Winds will be out of the southeast with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Lows tonight again, 50 in Norman, 51 in Ardmore, 52 out in west central Oklahoma in Elk City. Day pointer tomorrow, so 50 degrees as you start your day. Cloudy skies will remain, and we will have rain showers beginning by 5 p.m. for a high of 60 degrees. Winds will be light out of the east as well. Again, high of 60 in Norman, 57 in Lawton, 58 to our northwest in Woodward. And then our 7-day forecast. So rain returns tomorrow evening, 100% chance of rain tomorrow night and Thursday morning. Skies clear Thursday evening though, however, and then we're left with beautiful weather. May have a slight chance of showers for Saturday morning, but it will be long gone before the game. And so when the game comes around, we will have beautiful weather, highs in the 60s, and that will stick with us into the beginning of next week.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Trey.
Of course.
And the Sooners left Fort Worth with a win over the weekend.
Parker Thune is here with more on a much improved unit.
Yeah, Cal and Kelsey, the Sooner defense locked it down in Ruffin McNeil's first game as defensive coordinator. They'll look to keep the momentum going this weekend. Plus, two historic MLB franchises are set to square off in the World Series. Keep it right here on OU Nightly. Sports is up next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Parker Thune, and you know what time it is. Let's talk sports. The Sooner defense looked vastly improved against TCU in their first game of the Ruffin McNeil era. On deck is a matchup with a resurgent Kansas State offense.
The boys did a great job. The past 2 weeks, we've talked about it in some sessions with everybody, but we're really proud of the boys and the staff. and I'm just a spokesperson for them. I thought the effort was very close to what we were talking about, what we expected of them. And we talked about fundamental principles being at the forefront as well.
Shifting gears from the gridiron to the diamond, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox will hit the field tonight for Game 1 of the World Series. Both teams will trot out their superior southpaw starters. Chris Sale takes the mound for Boston, while the Dodgers hand the ball to former National League MVP Clayton Kershaw. First pitch is set for 7:09 Central Time. And as we look ahead to a huge week across the world of sports, we now turn to Sydney Forsee. And Sydney, what is it that you foresee on this Tuesday?
Well, Parker, it has been a busy week in sports, but I'm foreseeing some great games in the near future. The Sooners return to the Palace on the Prairie this weekend to face Kansas State, and I foresee the Crimson and Cream taking a W after 3 games away from their home turf. And Game 1 of the World Series kicks off tonight, and the Boston Red Sox and LA Dodgers will be competing for bragging rights and the title. And sorry, Dodgers fans, but I foresee the Red Sox taking this year's series. And the Thunder will go head-to-head with the Boston Celtics on Thursday. And cover your ears, OKC fans, because I foresee the Celtics taking this win, and I'm not for sure if it will be a close game either. But don't worry, I see redemption in the Thunder's near future. And that's what I foresee in the world of sports right now. Back to you at the desk, Parker.
Thanks so much, Sydney. And as the Lakers transition to the LeBron James era, it appears the first order of business is improving LA's defensive effort. The San Antonio Spurs won up to the Lake Show last night in a barn burner. 143-142 was the final from the Staples Center. As for James, he missed 2 crucial free throws and a jumper at the buzzer. The Lakers are now 0-3 on the young season. Meanwhile, the New York Giants are in a full-blown tailspin, and that continued last night against the Atlanta Falcons. Second quarter, Matt Ryan up top to Marvin Hall. Boom goes the dynamite, 47 yards. That gave the Falcons a lead they wouldn't relinquish. Atlanta's defense stifled Eli Manning all night. They win 23-20 as the Giants drop to 1-6 on the season. And Giants receiver Odell Beckham isn't letting a rough season get in the way of his antics. As a player, Randy Moss was quite a character. You might remember this provocative touchdown celebration in Green Bay back in 2005. We'll take a look at last night's pregame warm-ups. Moss is now an ESPN analyst. Beckham goes over and gives him a little tribute. And guys, I don't know if that's how I'd want people to remember me if I were Randy Moss, but I mean, hey, whatever works, I guess.
That's wild. Thank you very much, Parker. Well, the weekend was filled with beautiful weather. To learn more about the weather,
coming up, we take a look back at a festival that attracted thousands in Norman.
I'm Candace Coonrod at the Update Desk. Homecoming royalty voting has officially begun. Online voting will take place until Wednesday evening. Students can log on to elections.ou.edu to place their votes. That's it for now. Back to you, Cal and Kelsey.
Well, thanks, Candace. Last week we mentioned the National Weather Festival here in Norman.
Meteorologist Jordan Overton was there and takes us into the Weather Center from Saturday.
The festival is hosted each year as a free open house style event highlighting the many weather-related organizations and activities in Oklahoma. It also serves as a time for the public to visit the state-of-the-art National Weather Center. Patrick Hyland, the festival's coordinator of events, says this gives visitors the chance to see what happens behind the scenes in meteorology.
A lot of people don't know that meteorology, there's a lot of stuff that's done behind the scenes. And so coming to the National Weather Festival at the National Weather Center, you get a more behind the scenes look at things that are happening here in our facility and overall in the field of meteorology.
Among the many events, including weather balloon launches and a chance to meet the Weather Friends, which are OU students dressed as superheroes raising awareness about hazardous weather, the festival has a huge impact on the Norman community as a whole. While some visitors are there to learn about meteorology and the science behind it, others are there just to meet their favorite local TV meteorologist. All 4 TV stations in Oklahoma City were at the festival, showcasing their team and an arsenal of vehicles they use to track Oklahoma's wild weather.
This year's event brought in at least 5,000 visitors, which makes it one of the biggest in its 12-year history. Don't worry if you didn't make it to this year's event, though, because plans are already in the works for next year's festival. Reporting from the National Weather Center, Jordan Overton, OU Nightly.
Yeah, guys, and speaking of weather, on this day in 2015, we actually had the second strongest hurricane ever recorded in the world, second strongest tropical cyclone. That was Hurricane Patricia in 2015.
Interesting.
So, Patricia, compared to other hurricanes, how would you rank that?
So it is number 2 in terms of barometric pressure. So the only other one to go lower than, I believe it was 882 millibars, was Typhoon Tip in 79.
All right. And thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow, live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.